Good morning, students. Now coming to sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Topic 2, pollination. Students, pollination means transfer of pollen grains from anthers to the stigma of gynoecium. That is called pollination. And this pollination is characteristic feature of gymnosperms and angiosperms. So pollination is the characteristic feature of seed plants. What are seed plants? One is gymnosperms and second one is angiosperms. Pollination, it is the characteristic features of plants. At the same time, students, pollination, it is of two types. One is self-pollination. Okay, self-pollination. This is also called autogamy. Self-pollination is also called autogamy. The transfer of pollen grains from anthers to the stigma of the same flower. It is the pollination within the bisexual flowers. Pollination that takes place the transfer of pollen grains from anthers to the stigma of the same flower, that is called self-pollination or autogamy. It takes place only in bisexual flowers. Takes place only in bisexual flowers. Takes place only in bisexual flowers, and here this self-pollination does not occur in case of unisexual flowers. Only takes place in bisexual flowers. Students, in some plants, for example, viola and commelina, viola and commelina, and also another plant. This is oxalis, viola, commelina, and oxalis. There are two different kinds of flowers in plants. One type of flowers are called clistogamous flowers. Clistogamous flowers. And other one, chasmogamous flowers. Chasmogamous flowers. So clistogamous flowers means unopened flowers. And chasmogamous flowers means opened flowers. So in some plants, flowers do not open at all in any type. Such flowers are called clistogamous flowers and they are unopened flowers. The pollination that takes place in clistogamous flowers is called clistogamy. Here, male and female sexual organs are present on the same plant, and these male and female sexual organs, they get maturity at the same time, and in most of the cases anthers are in contact with the stigma, so that the pollen grains are transferred from anthers to the stigma, leading to the pollination of self-pollination. In clistogamous flowers, only self-pollination takes place. But in some members, in majority of the members, flowers are open. In this type of flowers, bisexual flowers, open bisexual flowers may lead to either self-pollination or cross-pollination. Both takes place. Both are possible in open flowers. Okay. So, in case of commelina, these type of clistogamous flowers are underground and chasmogamous flowers are airy. So, underground unopened flowers and opened flowers are airy in case of commelina bengalensis. So, this clistogamy it provides assured seed set even in the pollinating agent, even in the absence of a pollinator. So, clistogamous flowers, they provide assurance. Clistogamous flowers, they provide assurance to seed set. Assured seed set even in the absence of pollinating agent. Okay. Now coming to cross pollination. So this cross pollination means the pollination that takes place between two flowers. Okay. The transfer of pollen grains from anthers to the stigma of another flower belonging to the same species. that is called cross pollination. This is also called allogamy. This is called allogamy. Again, this cross pollination is also two types. One is geitonogamy. One is geitonogamy, and second one is genogamy. Geitonogamy and genogamy. So geitonogamy means the transfer of whole grains from anthers to the stigma of another flower present on the same plant. Okay, here male and female flowers are present on the same plant. Present on the same plant. So this is a uniparental pollination, just like self pollination. Here male and female flowers are present on the same plant, and transfer of whole grains from anthers to the stigma of another flower present on the same plant. This is called geitonogamy. But what is genogamy? This is a transfer of whole grains from anthers to the stigma of another flower present on another plant. Here male flowers are present in a male plant and female flowers on female plant, and transfer of whole grains from anthers to the stigma of gynoecium from anthers to the stigma of another flower present on another plant belonging to the same species. This is considered as genogamy. So actually geitonogamy, this is functionally cross pollination, but genetically this is also orthogamy. Why this is considered as orthogamy? Genetically both flowers are present on the same plant and genetic sequence of the both flowers is similar. Because of this reason it is considered as genetically this is orthogamy, but functionally this is cross pollination, allogamy. But genogamy, this is genetically and functionally cross pollination, real cross pollination, because flowers are present on different plants belonging to the same species, so that this is a real cross pollination. Students, now coming to agents. Plants, they use different kinds of agents to transfer their pollen grains, and these agents may be biotic agents and abiotic agents. Most abundant agents in cross pollination, biotic agents, animals, and abiotic agents are also divided into two types. One is water and other one is wind. Okay. Cross pollination by water is called hydrophic. Pollination by wind, this is called anemophily. These anemophilous flowers, they show some adaptations to achieve this cross pollination. Okay, what is this is anemophily. Pollination by wind is called anemophily. Okay, so what are the adaptations of this anemophily? These anemophilous cross-pollinated plants, they produce weightless dry pollen grains, weightless non-sticky pollen grains. Weightless non-sticky pollen grains are produced by these plants. At the same time, they produce well-exposed stamens and well-exposed stigmas. And they also contain only one ovule inside the ovule. For example, in case of corn cob, hairs like structures are there. There are stigmas and styles. You know, the corn cob is represented by silky hairs. A tuft of large number of silky hairs are there. Such silky hairs are freely hanging in atmosphere. They are nothing but styles and stigmas. So all these adaptations, they are shown by wind pollinated flowers. Now coming to another one, hydrophily. Hydrophily. Pollination by water. This is called hydrophily. It is quite rare in angiospermic plants. It is represented only 30 genera. Mostly these are monopods, mostly monopods. So in case of the lower group of plants like algae, fungi, bryophytes and pteridophytes, water is the medium for the movement of male gametes. At the same time, water is also help in hydrophilia in some members. Example, hydrilla, okay, and Vallisneria, hydrilla and Vallisneria, and sea grasses like Joastira. In these members, this is free, mean fresh water plants like hydrilla and Vallisneria, and sea grasses like Joastira. Water is play very significant role in pollination. Students, not all hydrophytes use water for their cross pollination. For example, water hyacinth, this is Eichhornia, water hyacinth, Eichhornia, and water lily, this is Nymphia, water lily, Nymphia. Actually, these are present in water, but what does not use, they do not use water for their cross pollination, and they use either wind or insects for their cross pollination, because their flowers emerge above the water surface and are pollinated either by wind anemophily, either by insects entomophily. At the same time, in case of Vallisneria, okay, in Vallisneria, epihydrophily is there. Epihydrophily is there. What is epihydrophily? Female flowers, they reach the surface by long stalks. Male flowers are released onto the surface, and male flowers they move possibly by water currents, and they reach the female flower and pollination takes place on the surface of water. That is called epihydrophily. But in case of Joastira, sea grasses like Joastira, hypohydrophily is there. Hypohydrophily. What is hypohydrophily? Here male and female flowers are submerged inside the water, and ribbon-shaped pollen grains they move by water currents and they reach the female flower, and cross-pollination takes place inside the water. Pollination inside the water, this is called hypohydrophily. Example, Joastira. So the pollen grains, okay, pollen grains in plants, pollen grains, they are covered by waxy coating, okay, waxy coating, okay. Waterproof waxy coating is present surrounding the pollen grains, protected from the wetting. This waxy coating protect the pollen grains from wetting. At the same time, there is no nectar and no colors in the flowers of hydrophilous plants, because nectar and colors they attract the insects, but here these in these hydrophytes pollination takes place by abiotic factor, that is water. There is not the need of attraction of this attraction, so that there is no any adaptation, very colors and nectars inside these flowers. At the same time, zoophily. Now coming to zoophily. So zoophily means majority of the plants they use different kinds of animals. Pollination by animals. This is called zoophily. Most abundant animals in this zoophily they are insects, especially bees, honeybees. Okay, pollination by insects is called entomophily. Pollination by squirrels is called therophily. Pollination by ants is called myrmecophily. Pollination by snakes is called ophiophily. Pollination by snails is called melacophily. In this way, and pollination by birds is called ornithophily, and pollination by bats is called chiropterophily. In this way, different kinds of animals they are also used for cross pollination of the plants. In addition to this lower group of animals, some higher group of animals like primates like lemurs, and arboreals like tree dwelling, and reptiles like snakes, gecko lizards, garden lizards, and all these they also help in cross pollination. They also serve as pollinating agents in nature. Okay. Similarly, A particular plant, they show some adaptations to attract a particular species of animal. For example, insect, okay, insect pollinating flowers, they are very large and colorful, and nectar also produced, and highly fragrant. Highly fragrant. They are adaptations to attract the insects for their cross pollination. At the same time, some of the plants there are also flies and beetles. Flies and beetles. These plants they produce foul odors. Foul odors. Bad smell. But in some members, actually, flowers they provide some rewards to attract the insects. Pollen, tasty pollen grains and nectar. They are floral rewards. Okay. At the same time, some plants they also provide floral rewards by providing the safe places to lay the eggs. Okay. In case of Amarpopolis. Okay. Amarpopolis. It produces 6 feet height inflorescence and which provide very safe places to lay the eggs, and in case of Amarpopolis. But one of the insect T. Eucacella. This T. Eucacella, it shows symbiotic cross pollination with the plant Yucca plant. These type of insects they lay their eggs in locules of ovary. By the time the ovules are developed into the seeds, these larvae come out of the ovules. Larvae come out of the eggs. In this way, here cross pollination takes place by different kinds of animals. At the same time, some of the insects and some of the agents they collect the floral rewards, but they do not help in cross pollination. Okay. Such type of agents are called pollen robbers. Pollen robbers or nectar robbers. These pollen robbers and nectar robbers they collect the pollen or nectar from the flowers without bringing the pollination. They are called pollen robbers or nectar robbers.